Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Question. How can I be alive without my body-mind complex? Without this body-mind costume, how do I interact with the world? How do I exist without the costume? So it is true that you cannot interact with the world without the costume. You cannot exist in a given limited form without the costume. You cannot be having life without the costume. This is true. So what? So what is the purpose of asking this question? Does it mean costume is Atma? Is that the implication? When you ask the question, how can I be alive without the body-mind complex? Suppose you are alive because of body-mind complex. So what? Without this body-mind costume, how do I interact with the world? Yes, we require the body-mind costume to interact with the world. How do I exist without the costume? Yes, you exist in a limited form with the costume. Just as an actor cannot be interacting on the stage without the costume, without the role costume. He cannot be a beggar without the costume. And he cannot come to the stage without the costume. That does not mean the costume is the actor. That doesn't, we are not talking about, we are only examining or analyzing here the reality of the costume. So we say the costume cannot be Atma. It is costume. Just as the beggar costume is not the actor, it is costume. The song. So actor has to know that this is the costume. Similarly, we have to know that this is the costume. The body, mind, sense complex, that's all. That does not deny the fact that I need that costume for playing my role in the world. For playing roles, you always need costume. So you decide to play the role, therefore you have this costume, that's okay. So for playing the role, you need a costume. That does not mean the costume is you. Our point here is not that the costume is not necessary or is not there. All we are saying is what is the reality of costume. Is the costume I or not I? Why is that question? Because today I take the costume as I. And that means I identify with the costume. Meaning that I take myself as limited as the costume is. And therefore the one who is limitless suffers from a sense of limitation on account of identification with the limited costume. So that is our problem, our question. The sense of limitedness that I feel, is it my nature or is it merely a false assumption on my part? Therefore this analysis was carried out. That body, mind, sense is a costume. The self is put on. Costume is not the self. Just as costume of beggar is not the actor, so also costume is not I. That means the limitation of costume do not belong to I. Just as limitation of beggar do not belong to the actor. In spite of the costume of a beggar, the actor remains a very wealthy person. So also in spite of this limited costume, the I remains limitless. So that is our point. Therefore, looking upon myself as a limited being is not right. So I remain limitless in spite of the costume being a limited thing. The actor remains a wealthy person in spite of the costume being that of a beggar. Because costume does not affect the one who puts on the costume. So also the body, mind, sense costume doesn't affect the self. So I guess the intention of the question was, how can you say that, how can you do without costume? I can't do without costume. So what? Doesn't the costume is I? I can't go without my glasses also. Doesn't mean glasses are I? How can you see without glasses? I can't see. How can you do without the glasses? I cannot do. That does not mean the glasses are eyes or glasses are I. That's all. Unless there was some other intention behind this question. If a jnani means a wise person is beyond the forces of guna, this question comes from our Jain Mandeva talks there in the 14th chapter, where we discuss the three gunas, where guna means a disposition. We say that our mind is made up of three gunas, of three dispositions, sattva, rajas and tamas. Same thing. So those gunas are like a costume. The otherwise person takes that costume to be the self. And therefore makes himself as small as the gunas. So if the mind is happy, sattva guna, I am happy. Mind is restless, I am restless. Mind is dull, I am dull. Mind is stupid, I am stupid. No, that equation is not necessary. Mind is mind and I am I. So all these are states of mind, happy, unhappy, dull, let them be. The difference between a wise person and the other wise person is, the other wise person identifies with the mind and looks upon oneself as happy, unhappy, etc., which are the states of mind. Means looks upon oneself as a limited being and then becomes unhappy. Who is a wise person? Same what we said, that the mind is not I. Mind is a beautiful equipment, a great gift, a great tool, but there is no I. Ignorant person calls the mind I, the wise person doesn't call it, that's all, because it is not. There is no other difference. So ignorant person measures himself with the measure of the mind and then takes himself to be as limited as the mind. The wise person does not. Just as an ignorant actor measures himself by the costume of beggar and thinks he's a beggar, the enlightened actor does not. So the beggar is a costume and I am what I am. So that's the difference between an ignorant person and the wise person. He is only in their perception, in nothing else. Wise person does not grow any horns on his head, or there is no physical changes, etc. Changes is what? In the perception. Of course, that changes all is, first of all, perception about himself. So change of perception of himself also changes perception about everything else. Because when I look upon myself as a limited, helpless creature, insecure, fearful, then I should always protect myself. When you look like a safe person, nice person who will protect me, so you are my friend. That one looks like the one who is threat to me. I hate it. So need to protect myself creates attachment for those who I look upon as a means of protection and aversion towards those who I look upon as a threat. So aversion, attachment arise. From that all other impulses arise. From that various actions arise. From that various results that samsara arises. The whole source of samsara is merely looking upon myself as equal to the mind. The wise person does not look upon himself as equal to mind, meaning that he sees himself as a complete being, totally happy with himself. Therefore, he is also happy with everything else. So when we are happy with ourselves, automatically we become happy with everything else. Our unhappiness with others only arises from our unhappiness with ourselves. So wise person has no reason to be unhappy with himself because he sees himself as a complete being. So he is happy with everybody else. So what do you do when you are happy? Just love, give, help, support. So that is his behavior. Adveshta sarvabhutanam. There is no dvesha or aversion or hatred for anybody. Maitra, he is friend to all. Karuna, has compassion for all. So these qualities which are there, they just become manifest. Everybody has this compassion and love within themselves. There is inherent nature of everybody. But this attachment and aversion born due to ignorance, they cover them. So when this inhibition of attachment and aversion goes away, he acts in a natural manner. Everybody else acts in an unnatural manner. Ignorant person acts in an unnatural manner. Wise person acts in a natural manner. That's the only difference. So what is that state? The state is the state of being happy with oneself and happy with everything else. How does he act? Only the actions are out of happiness and not for happiness. For ignorant person, all actions are for happiness. For the wise person, all actions are out of happiness. When you act for happiness, you are a consumer. When you act out of happiness, you are a contributor. Because a happy person has no agenda. He has no need, no agenda. Therefore, he does not interact with the world with the intention of fulfilling some agenda. He does not interact with the world for using the world to fulfill his agenda. That's what we do. Generally, because there is an agenda or need inside, whenever I interact with the world, within me is always this calculation of how to use this as an opportunity to fulfill my agenda. There is no agenda. Therefore, attitude is different. Not attitude of grabbing, attitude of giving. So in that manner, even if the actions remain the same, the attitude behind the actions change. That's all that counts. Only difference between the wise and ignorant person. Because a loving person is a happy person. A grabbing person is not a happy person. A giving person is a happy person. A grabbing person is not a happy person. He may be called a smart person, but not a happy person. A kind person is a happy person. A cruel person is not a happy person. In the ever moment, fellow is cruel, resentful, jealous. That is unhappiness. What else is unhappiness? Jealousy means unhappiness. When the mind is jealous, it can never be happy. So all this jealousy, anger, greed, all of that means unhappiness. The opposite of them, generosity, kindness, means happiness. So whenever you're happy, you're automatically a kind person. Unhappy person is likely to be a cruel person. The insensible is just too concerned about himself. So doesn't have time or doesn't have the occasion or time or luxury, leisure to be sensitive about others. He's too concerned about himself. So when we are preoccupied with our own self, then naturally we don't have leisure to be sensitive to the world. So then my actions will be out of insensitivity. When there is no preoccupation with oneself, then you are sensitive to others, then the person, action of wise person will be out of sensitivity for others. So that's how he will act. So Bhagavad Gita described in many places the wise person. As Sthitaprajna, as Bhakta, as Gunatita, etc. Now, how do I reconcile between Neti Neti and Ahamidam Sarvam? This is not, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. In spirit, I am everything. Both the statements are found. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, and Ahamidam Sarvam, I am all this. These two look like contradictory statements. How can both of them exist in one place, in one person? I am not, this also is true. Remember, we said the equation is a different kind of equation. I am different from them, but they are not different from me. That's the equation. If I am different from them means they are different from me, then I cannot say I am everything. I am different from them, meaning I am not them, that's called Neti Neti. But they are not different from me, that means I includes them. This morning we started the discussion about I. Right now the way I know that I excludes you. What's the wise person? When the I even includes you. So even if he uses pronoun I, it no more means that limited I. So I am different from you, you are not different from I. The actor is different from beggar, but the beggar is not different from the actor. The clay is different from the pot is not different from clay. Is that right? How do you say clay is different from pot? Because clay is not confined to pot. Clay is there whether pot is there or not. But pot is not different from clay because pot cannot be unless the clay is. So pot enjoys the dependent reality. Clay enjoys the independent reality. Therefore clay can say I am all this. It can say I am not a pot. When it says I am not the pot, I am clay. But then I am all this because they are not apart from me. They are also nothing but clay. So what is called pot is in essence nothing but clay. So clay can say that I am all this. Can it or not? Clay can say I am all these pots, is it not? Clay will say I am not the pot. Meaning what? I am not confined to a pot. I am not limited to partness. But I am all these pots, meaning I am there because the pots are because of me. I alone manifest as the parts. I am not confined to the parts, but alone manifest as a part. So when it says I am not the part, means I am not confined to a part. When it says I am all the parts, meaning the parts are not separate from clay. They alone manifest as parts. Is it clear? When you look at those 500 Swamis, I am not them, but I am them also. I am not them because I am not one of those distorted things. But I am them only because I alone manifested all those fellows, isn't it? So Mithya is nothing but manifestation of Satyam. I am Satyam, so I am not Mithya. But apparently they are not separate from me. I alone manifest as them. Therefore, I am all of them also. Does it make sense? I am not them. I am other than them, but they are not other than me. That's the equation of non-duality. Non-duality in spite of duality. It's not that you melt and merge everything into one to become. What is non-duality. It never became duality. Duality is just an appearance. I never became 500. I appear as 500. So when we give reality to all those fellows, then we need 501 cups. But then we realize that they are all appearances. Then they are all included in one. Now when this fellow is I, it includes all those 500 fellows. Formerly you thought that I am only this much. When you realize the real I, that includes all the 500 people, isn't it? If each one of them says I, it may not include the others. But when I say I, it includes all of them. So I am different from them, they are not different from me. What are they? I alone manifest as them. So I am not them, but I am them. In that means I alone manifest as them. Why is deep sleep so sweet? In spite of the predominance of ignorance. In spite of predominance of ignorance, why is the deep sleep so sweet? Because there is ignorance, all right, but not the mischief created by ignorance. The problem is not only ignorance, but the mischief that the ignorance creates. What is ignorance? Avaram and Vikshepa. If ignorance veils the true nature of a thing from me and creates the perception of what is not really there. Just as in the rope snake example, the ignorance covers the true nature of rope and creates there a false perception of snake. So what causes fear? What causes fear is the perception of snake. Merely ignorance of rope, I didn't look at the rope, I didn't know the rope, nothing would have happened to me. But when does something happen to me? When I see the rope as a snake. So in deep sleep state, there is ignorance. So I don't see anything. But not seeing anything doesn't make me unhappy. It is seeing things wrongly that makes me unhappy. Seeing myself as limited being makes me unhappy. Not seeing myself doesn't make me unhappy. But seeing myself wrongly makes me unhappy. The waking and dream states, I automatically identify with this body sense complex, mind sense complex, and therefore I suffer from a sense of limitation, therefore I am unhappy. In the deep sleep state, the sense of limitation is not there because identification is not there. What creates in me a sense of limitation? Identification with body, mind, sense complex. When will I identify with it? When I am aware of it. When I am aware of the body, then I call it I. When I am aware of the mind, I call it I. Meaning identification takes place when I am aware of it. In deep sleep state, I am not aware of it. So there is no identification. So there is no sense of limitation. So there is no sorrow. Therefore in deep sleep state you experience freedom. Therefore it is so sweet. Only problem is you don't know that we are free. Otherwise that all problems would have been solved. If in deep sleep state you are aware, I am free, then you may not even want to wake up perhaps, But then I have experience of freedom, but not the knowledge of freedom in a deep sleep state. What is required is experience of freedom plus removal of ignorance. Both are required. How many enlightened people are there roughly, approximately? I don't know. How many rishis are there? I don't know. Because all of this is a matter of perception. So this person whose name was Paul Brenton, he came to India, I think in the second or the third decade of 19th century, 18, 20, 25, around that time. He came in search of a guru. He was an amazing person and a very lucky person also, that he really was able to come in direct contact with many great yogis who he wanted experience. They all came with different variety of experiences. But he came away with the conclusion that nobody, he was not impressed by anybody, including Ramana Maharshi. Where he realized that, this is somebody different, but still he went away. Because this is my European mind doesn't want to submit to anybody. He was sucked by Ramana Maharshi. I don't know who sucked. So he went away. And went to so many people. He liked some people. He didn't care for others. He ridiculed some. Whatever. Ultimately disappointed. Fortunately, somebody brought him back to Ramana Maharshi. And then his equation was complete. So whether somebody is a Rishi or not depends on how you look at that person. He did not think anybody was a Rishi, except ultimately Ramana Maharshi. But depends on how your mind is, how you look at things. And so, who calls him Maharshi? His driver calls him Maharshi, Our Swami used to say, some Maharshi so and so, Maharshi that. He used to be those days Maharshis. So he used to make fun. Who calls him Maharshi? His driver. Always enough people to call you Bhagavan and things like that. So disciples always call their gurus by a variety of names. Whether other people accept them or not is a different matter. So I do not know how many rishis are there and how many jnanis are there and where they are. Because if I say so and so is jnani, then you will start to really? Why this, why that, the million questions will be there. Because even if I call this person jnani, you have your own concept of who a jnani should be. And you can compare that person with the person in your concept. And if that person doesn't satisfy all your requirements, so jnani, you will dismiss him. You follow? Thus, this fellow Paul Brennan dismissed everybody. And therefore, even when I ask how many jnanis are there, or is this a jnani or not, unless I already have my own picture of what a jnani should be. Even if you say this is a jnani, this one, you call him jnani? But I think jnani must be there who can walk 6 inches above the earth. No, he doesn't. I think jnani must be able to perform some miracles, he doesn't. They say that everybody has their own notion of what a wise person is and what moksha is and what this is and that is. We are trying to clarify all those things, but ultimately everybody wants to see that person, which is in their mind. And we bless them, as I say. But there is no point in saying such and such person is jnani because there is no universal acceptance of anybody. Lord Krishna will not be universally accepted, nor Buddha, nor Christ, nor X, Y, Z. I'm sure there are people who dismiss that. Lord Krishna was dismissed, criticized, ridiculed in his own lifetime. And so, I guess, so was Christ, otherwise who would, crucify him. So there are always a variety of viewpoints. And therefore, go to Bhagavad Gita for description of jnani. That's what I do. Because by calling somebody jnani, what we are doing is, we are in fact placing upon that person the responsibility of satisfying my expectations. Swamiji, show me one jnani, then I'll believe it. Believe if you want to. I believe in Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita says that this is a jnani. It makes sense to me. That's enough for me whether a given person satisfies those qualifications or not. Me that personally I do not need to have before me some kind of an ideal. For me, the ideal presented by the Bhagavad Gita is adequate. So that I do not burden somebody with all those requirements. What Lord Krishna describes satisfies my requirements. But perhaps nobody else may satisfy them. Therefore, I do not usually get into this business of who is jnani, who is not jnani, etc. It is safe to take the description of Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads provided. This may sound very strange to you coming from me, but anyway. That means a non-committal statement. Very diplomatic answer. Vedanta says we focus on Satyam and not Mithya. So we need to focus on clay and not pot. But we only know how to appreciate pot. We don't value clay. So how to make this change in daily life? How to practice right living in every moment? When Vedanta says that appreciate the clay, it doesn't mean Vedanta says that don't look at the pot. Look at the pot, also keep in mind that the reality is clay. That doesn't mean pot does not exist. That doesn't mean pot is not beautiful. That doesn't mean pot is not valuable. All of these are vyavaharika qualities, That a pot is beautiful, that a pot is ancient, that it's a collector's item, whatever it is, all fine. That does not make pot real. In spite of all those things, it is clear that is real. Therefore, keep in mind, while appreciating the beauty of the pot, keep in mind that the pot is what it is because of clay. what gives existence to the pot is clay. Meaning that what the pot is all beautiful. So you appreciate, whatever you appreciate you do. Just remind that beautiful thing that I appreciate is what it is because of Satyam, because of the self. Because what we perceive is only mithya. What we interact with is also mithya. What is useful also is mithya. Satyam is not useful. Satyam or truth is not useful at all because it does not come into play in any interaction. It is one mithya interacting with another mithya in presence of Satyam. However, what we interact with is all mithya. What is mithya? That which cannot exist without Satyam. What is Satyam? That which gives the existence to mithya. So where mithya you will find Satyam. Where pot is you will find clay. Similarly, what anything else you will find asti, bhati, priyam. In any name and form you find asti, bhati, priyam. So then also we should not lose sight of, that's all. While interacting with the pot and objects of the world, we should not lose sight of the fact that the reality is asti, bhati, priyam. What matters is asti, bhati, priyam. So when we appreciate the beauty of pot, that doesn't mean we give reality to pot, understand? So, appreciating something, using something, is not opposed to it being mithya. In fact, mithya alone is useful. That alone can be appreciated. That alone can be transacted with. But mithya is because of Satyam. So where mithya is, there Satyam is. What provides existence to this? What provides awareness to this? What reveals this is Satyam. In that sense, we can keep always Satyam in our mind. While interacting with mithya, we keep Satyam in your mind. Now we should go to a more fundamental thing. It is not so much keeping Satyam in mind when I interact with the world. It is first keeping Satyam in mind as far as I am concerned. That what is my truth? Satyam is my truth. What am I in reality? Satyam is what I am in reality. So that's what we have to keep in mind. Satyam is not there. It is my own self. I think tomorrow we may have a chance to perhaps talk about it. Let us see. As a medical professional, I may be asked to help in ending the life of a terminally ill person. The law permits it. What is the Vedantic view? Vedanta also, I guess, will go along with the law. Meaning the law has been arrived at by taking into account all the various aspects. The law is ultimately meant for the well-being of the terminally ill person. Isn't it? When the law permits a physician to end the life of a terminally ill person, that law is meant keeping in mind the well-being of that patient. I would think. Then Vedanta would accept it. Well-being, what you do is for the well-being of others. Sometimes you may be cruel, you not to be kind. As long as your intention is the well-being. You talked about how to advance in our spiritual journey yesterday. I didn't catch all of it. Could you please go over it again? So Kumar, do you have a recording of what we did yesterday? Alright, so please oblige this person, So now you can listen to it more than once. If you thought that was a useful thing, then you can listen to it more than once. Swami, could you please explain asangoham? It says sango, but asangoham more. You mentioned it in the meditation session this morning. You said something like unconnected. Yeah. Sangha. Sangha means attachment or connection. Asanga means unattached or unconnected. So asangata or unconnectedness or unattachedness can very well be appreciated when we look at the relationship between the actor and the costume. When the actor is aware of his own identity and playing the role, at that time he is asanga, meaning that unconnected or untainted or unaffected by the costume. Although he performs effectively the role of a beggar, and in the role of beggar he may be treated well, he may be treated badly, he may be insulted, all of this happens. And according to the script he also responds. Somebody telling to me, he also may reply. In the play, the actor also, the beggar, somebody insults him, he may insult back. That is the play. All of this is only at the level of acting. Within him, he never feels insulted, nor does he mean to insult. Right? That's called Satsanga. Meaning they are unconnected, unaffected. So just as an actor is unconnected or unaffected by the costume and what all things take place at the level of role, so I am unconnected or unaffected by whatever takes place at the level of the body, mind, sense complex. The body is limited, fine. That doesn't mean I is limited. So limitations of the body, mind, sense complex do not in any way touch me, affect me, influence me. The recognition is what is required. When does the recognition happen? When I can with knowledge. So, as far as the actor is concerned, there is a distance between the beggar and the actor. What is the distance? That is the distance of knowledge. Not distance in space or time, because where the beggar is, there the actor is. When the beggar is, then the actor is, meaning space and time wise are not separate, but knowledge wise are separate. How? Actor is Satyam, beggar is Mithya. And Mithya can never affect Satyam, cannot touch Satyam, cannot be connected with Satyam. The snake does not affect the rope, is not connected with the rope, does not affect the rope, does not influence the rope. As I say, the mirage water does not wet even a grain of sand. What is the water that wets? Whatever comes in contact with it. But imagine mirage water. So usually the delusion of mirage water takes place in a desert, in sand. But that mirage, ocean of mirage water does not wet even a grain of sand. Right? So sand is unconnected, unaffected by mirage water. Satyam is unconnected, unaffected. So I is also asanga, unconnected, unaffected. I have been attending AVG classes for nearly 20 years. I would like to approach a Swami to become a student. What should I do? You're already a student. You are attending AVG classes, you are already a student. So, what else do you mean by a student? Yes, you can certainly approach the Swami and ask for a student, means you want to be his disciple, you want an initiation. If that makes a difference to you, then you can certainly approach the Swami. The fact that you are attending classes means you are already a student. Want to become full-time student? What is it? So, what is the difference between a student and what you are right now? And if that is different, then certainly you can approach a Swami and request him. Please explain how Ananda and Anantam are the same as Sat and Chit. What is Sat? Existence. What is Chit? Awareness. See, the clay imparts existence to a pot. The pot has a form. Clay, which imparts existence to pot, doesn't have a form. The formless provides existence to the form. The pot shines because clay shines. Pot is because clay is. So the isness and shineness themselves do not have any form or do not have any attribute at all because they eliminate all forms. So the one that eliminates all the forms itself is without formless. One that eliminates all attributes is without attributes. Awareness eliminates all forms, so it is formless. Eliminates all attributes, so it is without attributes. And Sat alone is Chit. So Sat and Chit are formless, attributeless, they were limitless, they were Anantam. Anantam alone is Ananda. That is also another equation. So first of all, it should become clear that because Sat and Chit have no attribute at all, they have no form, therefore they are not confined to a place, not confined to a time, not confined to a situation. They are formless, boundless, endless, so Ananda. How Ananda is Ananda? So here we go to Chandogya Upanishad, which says, Yo vai bhuma tat sukham. Nalpe sukham asti. Says that which is bhuma, or abundant, or infinite, that is happiness. So what infinite alone is happiness. Nalpe sukham asti, there cannot be happiness in anything that is limited. Meaning that when you really feel happy, when you are ecstatic, at that time you are free from all sense of limitation. When you feel limited, you cannot be happy. Feeling limitedness itself is unhappiness. So real happiness is when you see yourself as free from all limitation. Those moments come. You are so ecstatic, you forget everything, you lose yourself also. There are moments when we lose ourselves in happiness. Never expected. So, what was that? The Britain. Huh?
European exit.
Yeah, exited. So that is Brexit. Some people rooted for Brexit. I don't think they ever expected it to happen, Happened. That must be great joy, ecstatic. In that moment you lose yourself. When you lose yourself, you know what you mean, also an enjoyer. The enjoyer and enjoy difference also goes away. What remains is that boundlessness. That's the true happiness. So Chandogya says, what is infinite is happiness. There cannot be happiness in what is finite. Sat is infinite, Chit is infinite, therefore it is happiness, so it is Ananda. So what is Sat? Is Chit, what is Chita? That will all come tomorrow. It will come tomorrow. How do Buddhas relate Chit with Sat? Is momentary existence related to thoughts which are momentary events? Yeah, the Buddhas take the Chittam or the mind as a self. And that is always changing. Therefore they look at oneself also as constantly changing or momentary. So they think that there is no such thing as continuity in life. Buddha say that just as the quantum theory would say. It's all, there is no continuity, it's just quantum. So that's an amazing thing. What is quantum? No continuity. From here to there, there's no linear thing. It's from here to there, no continuity. It's a quantum leap, not a continuous leap. So quantum means that there is no continuity. So ultimate truth is that there is no continuity. Momentariness. Every moment is different from the previous moment, the following moment. So without connection, one moment jumps to other moments. You follow? When the consciousness is momentary, you know what it means? That one moment is gone, other moment comes. Not from the moment that is gone, other moment comes. That goes, other moment comes. No continuity. So according to them, the ultimate truth is like that. There is no continuity. All momentary. So they must have known quantum mechanics right then, those days. And wherever you look, there is no continuity. Really, everything is, you see, they say that continuity is merely a delusion. So when there is a lamp, the flame of the lamp, that flame is burning, is constantly burning, isn't it? The flame is continuous, is it not? The Buddha will say that every moment a new flame arises. Every moment a new flame arises and only creates an appearance of continuity. Continuity is an appearance, what really is there is momentariness. Is that theory? So if Atma, the self, is ultimate reality, there also is momentary. To you it looks continuous, but that is only a delusion. What is momentary. That's how the debates go on. So what does Vedanta have to say? Vedanta says that there is something called recognition, called pratyabhijna. The word pratyabhijna means recognition. See, cognition is one thing, recognition is another thing. Cognize and recognize, two words. So this clock is in front of me, I cognize there is an object. Then I recognize this is a clock. See, my eyes do not say that this is clock. My eyes merely give me the date of whatever color etc. is there. It is my mind that says it is a clock. You follow? The recognition takes place in the mind. Therefore, people with dementia who lost capacity of recognition, they see things, they cognize things all right. Who are you? His own son, he says, who are you? Because recognition is not there. Cognition is there, recognition is not there. When does recognition take place? When you compare what is now with what was before. So recognition is a result of cognition and memory. So I have a memory of this clock. So what is called clock? So I say, my eyes say this is an object, my mind say this is a clock. Further, my mind say this is the same clock which was yesterday. Because I have memory of that clock. So perception plus memory becomes recognition. Perception is of what is. There is no recognition there. Memory is to recognize. Recognition of Pratyabhijna. This phenomenon of recognition, Vedanta says, establishes continuity. When I say that this is the same clock, means the clock that was yesterday is the clock today. That shows there is continuity in the clock from yesterday to today. You understand this? If the clock changed every moment, if every moment a new clock came, I could not have recognized it as the same clock. The fact that I recognize clock as the same clock that was yesterday means that there is a continuity in that clock. Also, I recognize that the Swami was sitting in the dining hall eating that vada. The same Swami who is talking? Isn't it? The one who was eating in dining hall is the one who is talking. Do I remember it or not? So that cannot be unless a continuity in the Swami. The one who was eating is the same as the one who is speaking. So Vedanta says that unless there is continuity, there cannot be recognition. Recognition shows continuity. That's how the Vedantins established the continuity. Anyway, the point is, this is how, it's a very brilliant thing to say that it's all momentary. Because the world is momentary. But all momentary things or changing things always presuppose a changeless basis. And that's the self, that's the truth. Alright, so that takes care of the questions. So one final chanting. You join us in the fourth line. मनोबुद्ध्यहंकार चित्तानिनाहम् न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न न तेजो न वायुः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायुः न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोशः न वाक्पाणिपादं न चोपस्थपायुः चिदानन्दरूपः Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Name Dvesharagam, Name Lobhamoham, Mado Naiva Me Naiva Matsarya Bhava, Na Dharmo Na Chartho, Na Kamo Na Moksha, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na tirtham, na veda, na yajna, aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam, na bhokta, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Name Mrityu Shankar, Name Jati Bheda Hai, Pita Naiva Me Naiva Mata Na Janma, Na Bandhu Na Mitram, Guru Naiva Shishya, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupa, vibhurvyapya sarvatra sarvendriyana, sada me samatvam, na muktir na bandha, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru